Supernova.
So this article just made me laugh when I was reading
Especially what they've circled too.
This is what I mean, man, and this is what's annoying me with this whole allegation, right? Is they're claiming SWAT stickers. There were SWAT stickers there, but I haven't seen a single picture yet, and you'd think there'd be pictures getting around of the SWAT sticker mainly because a lot of although like people will associate the Japanese Imperial Flag with fucking the war and with Nazis as well, they should immediately see the SWAT sticker and go, "Oh, Nazis, Nazis!" Take pictures of it, start posting that all online. You'd have thought it would have happened far quicker and would have a lot more photos of these supposed SWAT stickers that were up on the first day, but were taken down on the second day. Instead, all we
Yeah.
have is these pictures of a Japanese Imperial Flag, which is just the fucking the war flag of Japan. So don't get me wrong, there's negative connotations to it, but it's also a legitimate flag. We have
And
pictures of what appears to be to me they look more like a witchcraft slash like
Celtic or
yeah, and a
something.
Celtic symbol. And don't get me wrong, there's been this massive wave where these lefties are trying to imply that any white dudes that love Vikings or the Celtic or Celts or anything like that are immediately racist. They're white supremacists. So maybe that's where they're going with that. There could be other things that I haven't fully looked into that change that, but in my opinion, that's what I see from it. And then we have the Eureka flag, man. And they're trying to say,
Yeah.
no shit, man. Nazi propaganda was available for sale for a day at the Supernova Festival in Sydney before the stall owner was booted. According to the artist, Twitter user who wishes to be anonymous has set their Twitter profile at the stall of the booth. Even with the rising sun flag and swastikas, fascist statements and shirts being so here we fascist statements and shirts being proud of Christians, heterosexual, pro-gun, and conservative identity. So it's apparently wrong if you want to identify as a Christian, a heterosexual, pro-gun, or conservative in any way. That immediately apparently makes you a fascist.
Yeah, and let's also, which clearly been ignored by the entire article, on his table as well, he's got medieval helmets.
There's
He's about warfare, fucking, and
So
countries, and
there's a couple of other pictures that I've seen because I seen this when Tani was flicking through her Facebook stories and some dude's talking about it. He's like, oh, this the Sydney Supernova's done something so terrible. Like this is so bad, guys, and all this shit. And then he flicks to these pictures. Now I'm there waiting for the swastika pictures to pop up, but they never come. But there's another picture and it's like a shirt that like the shirt says, like they've stated, pro gun, pro Christianity, pro heterosexuality. And then there's another shirt or slash banner thing next to it with a middle finger, like a cartoon middle finger, and it says "Keep fascism out of Australia." And fucking, it's like
Mhm.
I don't know, man. I don't understand how they're like calling them fascists when the statements that they were selling were clearly anti-fascist. I haven't seen a
Well,
single swastika.
what's the difference between fascism and pink fascism?
I don't know, man. I've got to check that out. I don't know what pink fascism is.
But then the next one, anyway, Christian, Australian, heterosexual, pro gun, conservative. Any questions?
And then
That
also
shirt is like.
the Eureka flag in particular is a common symbol for nationality and radicalism used by all sorts of political groups, including communists and neo Nazis alike. I would just like to add in here that they've actually edited the article and retracted the part about the Eureka flag being connected to communism and extreme agendas. So, yeah, that sounds about right, doesn't it? Bullshit. The
I was
Eureka
about to say,
flag to me is a symbol of fucking libertarianism. It's a symbol of
uh,
fucking fuck you government, don't get involved. It's
like, yeah, that. Wow, I've never heard of it for communism and
yeah, man.
fucking.
This is what I mean. They're trying to push that people who support those ideals are the communists. They're the bad ones. They're the Nazis. Where in fact they push the communist and socialist ideals. It's fucking ridiculous, man.
The
fucking
only
dissidents.
Yeah, like the only thing that would even like give them credit for is the Imperial Flag, but even then, it still stands on its own as a fucking part of history, part of what it was, as a flag.
But I got the bitch tattooed on my chest above a geisha.
Yeah,
It's
that
just
doesn't mean
hey.
you're gonna be fucking out there trying to
Oh, don't get
fucking.
me wrong. I might get out there and start trying to kill some Chinese if it comes down to it.
Yeah, that's just China's fucking pushing their shit on us first.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not necessarily Christian. I'm not necessarily a full conservative, and I'm not necessarily like just pro sexuality. But I still believe in the rights for somebody to state that they are. There's nothing wrong
Like
with
if
being
if somebody
all those
ticked
things.
every one of those boxes, he'll buy that shirt.
That's exactly it. And there's a lot of conservatives that would. I like that shirt because the pro gun, but if you like to flat out state pro heterosexuality, obviously will make people be like, well, that means you're anti-gay. Not
Yeah,
necessarily. Like
yeah.
I can say I'm pro. If I say I'm pro-gay, does that mean I'm anti-heterosexuality? No, it doesn't. Or does that
If I
mean
was,
like yeah?
yeah, and to be honest, if I was ever to rep a shirt that included heterosexual, let's take out the Christian there and you know, that conservative, to a degree.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, I'd be like, I'm just advertising that I'm a single fucking heterosexual male. So I'm not having any homosexuals trying to hit on me and offer me free drink. And I'm not going to have any fucking lesbians thinking I'm a fucking man transitioning into a woman hitting on me trying to buy me a fucking free drink. Like,
Actually, yeah, there's that picture where you can see, yeah, pink fascism out of Oz. Let's find out what pink fascism
quick Google.
Hmm. Oh, pink fascism is from, well, I type in pink fascism and immediately I get gay fascism. Pink swastika. Pink swastika, homosexuality in the Nazi party. Is a 1995 pseudo-historical book by Scott Livy and crimes committed by homosexuals in the Nazi party. You see the so is it just in reference to the fact that the LGBT are basically becoming the new fascists?
That's what it's kind of seeming like, even if that's not what it was.
Yeah, because it seems to me like without looking fully into that book, it looks like it's the implication that the Nazis were extremely gay. Just all the Nazis were bumming each other.
That's what I was just reading then. Says Nazi Germany was homosexual prosecuted, blah blah blah. Numbers of convicted, blah blah blah. They were forced to wear pink triangle badges. Some underwent castration or other Nazi human experimentation aimed at curing homosexuality.
Yeah, yeah.
Adolf Hitler signed an etiquette that SS and police personnel would be subject to the capital punishment if caught engaging in homosexual activity. According to a small number of gay men belonged to a covert faction within the Nazi Party that favored gay emancipation, while denigrating feminists, Jews, and leftists with propaganda asserted that homosexual emancipation was a Jewish conspiracy to undermine the Germans' Volks morality.
Oh, whoa.
Then it goes on, the myth is nearly as old as the Nazi Party itself. Goes on, left-wing Germans seized on the homosexuality of well-known Nazis. A commander, Sturmbannbolt, Sturmbannbataillon. Sorry, buddy, I butchered your name. Tried to present homosexuality as a widespread among Nazis in order to discredit them. Men were frequently greeted with shouts of "Hot Rom" or "Gay Hail," "Schwal Hail." Before World War II, both the Communist Party of Germany and Social Democratic Party of Germany favored the repeal of paragraph 175, a law criminalizing homosexuality between men.
Just men.
Yeah, but they pragmatically used accusation of homosexuality to gain political advantage over their opponents.
Just like, nope. I demand to be the governor of this city because I will place in a new clock tower and a brand new dining hall. Yes, well, I accuse you of being a faggot.
Because of your new clock tower. Looks a bit phallic. Straight up. In the Soviet Union, Maxim Gorky claimed that eradicate homosexuals and fascism will disappear. Leftists, even those who were themselves gay, continued to hold an aversion to all non-monogamous or non-heterosexual hate.
Yeah.
Gay anti-fascists had to stay in the closet in order to avoid rejection by the movement.
Holy shit. And it's so funny because literally the Nazi party has become the gays. Yeah, literally, it's the LGBT community that is acting like the fascist party.
Hitler exaggerated homosexuality in the SA in order to justify the 1934 purge of the SA leadership.
So the Nazis were trying to make it seem more like there were gays?
It was the Nazis, not the left, who were most responsible for the lasting impression of the SA as homosexual.
That's some weird fucking history that I had no idea about. That's like part of the war that just I had no idea.
And then some guy literally complains about he's an anti-Nazi, and he complains about them attacking opponents with their personal lives.
Man,
Wow.
there's some bizarre political shit happening on in the fucking Nazi party. Nonetheless, enough about pink fascism. I feel sorry for this poor vendor because they're just selling some flags and shit. Now they're just being accused of being fascist.
Yeah. We got forced to move along.
Yeah, cancel culture at its finest, man. Just because a couple of people complain and then they get kicked out because of some uneducated fools. I want to see a swastika. They claim so much. There were swastikas there. There were swastikas there. But
Show us picked.
I've not seen a single swastika. All I've seen is the Imperial Flag, which to me is the worst thing there. And even then, see a lot
I'm
of
gonna ask
Celtic
though.
not work.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask though. Fucking, how often is shit like this sold at a supernova event?
Well, I've never seen anything like that sold at a Melbourne Supernova event. Like, personally, anytime we've gone, I've never seen any stalls like that.
Because yeah, that does look to me just like what you'd see at your classic fucking mall or fucking
Yeah, like, it definitely seems like they didn't get the memo of exactly what the con was,
supernova
and
is.
maybe they just
Yeah,
went, "Oh, look, some sort of convention, let's go and sell some shit," without
yeah.
thinking it's a comic convention. There's gonna be a lot of fucking young goddamn lefties there that'll just be like, "Rah."
And to me, that's why they had the fucking medieval things up, like their helmets there. Like,
Some other allegations that go along with this. So obviously this is unsubstantiated because it's just hearsay. But apparently a person on Twitter also added that attendees have also been allegedly harassed by the stall owner after asking what the flags meant and targeting attendees of color. So like they're trying to make this guy sound like racist, but hey, don't get me wrong,
yeah,
could have been. He could have been. But it sounds like he probably also could have been the type of dude that was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna go fucking push some buttons and go sell some shit and see what sort of kickback I get. And fucking some people probably tried to have words with him, and then he was just like, well, you listen here, what the fuck's a Eureka flag got to do with racism, motherfucker? And then they were just like, and then he harassed us.
yeah. And if you're gonna ask him, fucking, what these flags mean, like, take it. You don't know. Like, if you don't know what the flag means, what it is, you know.
Like the only way I could see that star, the star on the black background, is being racist is if maybe they're sort of comparing it with like the whole black sun symbol that the Nazis also used or something like that because it's a star on a black background or something. But to me, it just looks like random flag.
Yeah, those black ones to me, 100%, like some sort of Celtic or like fucking. What would you say, like Wicca, witchcraft kind
Yeah,
of fucking.
and like you can see in one of the pictures is a flag on the table as well. And it looks like some sort of cross that looks like
Yeah,
it's done just
all
a bunch of
knots.
fucking knots and shit like that. And it's like again, are they just seeing the Viking and going, "Oh, fucking racist," because you're into the fucking whole Viking Celtic not work type stuff? I think they're really clutching at straws for this.
Right, so it won't be long before people that are just into Vikings start being called racists. Well, they were all blonde haired, blue eyes, so if you like Vikings, you're fucking supporting the Aryan race.
Absolutely fucking done with the left, man. They're just fucking ridiculous. And like I said, it's starting to happen in Australia now. I've been saying it for a while, and every time I mention it, people go, "What? I haven't heard that." About the fact that the left are trying to state that the Eureka flag is a symbol of fucking racists and shit like that. And
Yeah, that
yeah,
just blows my mind.
this now proves it. I've got now at least some evidence to show. Yeah, look, this is the way that they think. They think the Eureka flag is a symbol of fucking racism when it's not at all.
Oh, fuck, let's punch it in. I don't even know how to spell Eureka.
Like literally, bunch of boys fucking fly that motherfucker when they're fighting back against the fucking government. Uh,
Oh, nice, they still got it.
like it's I don't know, man. They're, they're,
100%.
they're trying
I'm
to
not seeing any racial sort of indication from this. I'm really struggling.
they're trying to put the Eureka flag in the same boat as the swastika, and it's like they're not. They're not at all.
Yeah, they were fucking miners that had a fucking enough.
That's it. They were miners that were having their fucking living stolen from them. So they went, ah, fuck it. All right, boys, let's get some guns together. And this is why I keep saying fucking throughout the whole COVID thing. It's like, well, time to raise that Eureka flag again, start building a stockade. Because literally the government is currently stopping citizens from making a living by forcing everyone to stay at home. Like, it's no fucking different to them increasing the amount and making it so you needed mining licenses or prospecting licenses. Yeah, obviously it's not the exact same thing,
Yeah, I
but
was gonna say it's a little different.
it's a little
Like,
different because obviously COVID only goes on for so long. But how long is it going to continue? How many lockdowns? How many weeks in
mm.
total do they do the lockdowns in Melbourne and stop fucking a bunch of the people from making money and end up having their
When
businesses
enough
collapse?
people are vaccinated.
Yeah, that's exactly it. But what's enough? What's enough people that are vaccinated? I mean, what's the
Yeah, I
percentage?
don't know.
That's
I'm not
it.
a doctor.
That's exactly it. No, nobody fucking knows.
I'm sure a doctor could throw out a good prediction, but
I doubt it. I highly doubt it. It's just, yeah, I don't think it is a conceivable number. I think they
mm,
want it to be ambiguous. Like literally, the cunt on the fucking news the other day talking about COVID. He's just like, if you're over 60 years old, like you should probably get it done. And he's like, but if you're over 70, you should get it done because you have a 1 in 10 chance of dying if you're over 70 and have serious like health issues and shit. And it's just like every time you open your mouth, cunt, you make COVID sound less and less bad. Like for the
yeah,
average Joe Blow, like this whole time you've
yeah,
been like really sort of pushing the idea of you better get it because you could die, and it's like, yeah, no, that's bullshit. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for old folks definitely shouldn't be around people because they could die, but in whenever in history have we quarantined the non-sick? Most of the time we just quarantine the sick, and or
And
obviously,
I was gonna say I don't know enough about other histories, viruses, rate because the main issue I hear with that
is it so
is
contagious?
no,
Well,
is it's the 2 weeks of not showing symptoms.
yeah, the
So you can spread,
incubation
yeah,
period.
so you can spread it within the 2 weeks before
Yeah,
you even know.
but what does it matter if it isn't that bad anyway? Like, I get obviously
Yeah,
people who work in old
just for
folks'
the whole,
homes.
why don't you quarantine the sick only instead
Yeah, but
of
as soon as they show the symptoms,
everyone?
then quarantine the bastards if you so wish. But again, it's
Then they
not.
got to do that backtrack of where did they visit in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, but again, do we quarantine people that have the flu? No, we don't.
Yeah.
And it's no worse
I
than the
was going
fucking
to say
flu.
something. I forgot what I was
Sure,
going to
the
say.
incubation period is worse than the flu and all that, but in death
Let's
rates,
see what they claim.
and like I've stated, and like has been stated by the CDC, it's not nowhere near as fatal towards infants as the standard flu is. Obviously, old folks have a hard time with it because of breathing issues and stuff like that, and it is. But so is the flu to old folks.
I'm just having a little read at the moment. They have 3 dot points, and then I assume they elaborate on that. Says, quotation, "no vaccine."
Mhm.
And there is no community immunity. It needs to build, etc. And the other
Yeah,
one
like
is
the community immunity, it needs to build, but it hasn't had a chance to build because they immediately started fucking quarantining people. In
they
my
did do the sick first though, before everybody else. Like,
Yeah, and they put those sick straight into fucking old people's homes and into like fucking into
tactical placements.
hotels where they hired severely fucking like
Mhm.
lacking fucking security guards that end up fucking the people and shit like that. And it's like
Yeah,
seriously drop the ball on that one, guys, or yous were really trying to actually get this fucking shit to get out in amongst the
yeah.
populace.
The next one is it's more infectious,
Yeah, yeah, of course,
and
but
in comparison to obviously how it's standing has a higher death rate. And then the next one is it has a higher rate of hospital people going in a hospital.
yeah, because they'll fucking telling everyone to go into hospital when you fucking were getting sick from it, rather than giving them other potentially
Advice.
yeah
Yeah.
advice that a lot of doctors were trying to give people, and then all those doctors were being shut down, told to shut up or fired, just because they were like, hey, try this medicine because this seems to work. Same as when Trump was like fucking oh shit, what did he say? Because the news people ran it as Trump tells everyone to drink fish tank cleaner, because it was like it's this sort of a similar product but in medical form, and fucking
Mm.
yeah, yeah, I can't remember the actual
They
name of the shit, but
they go on that one too. Flu is seasonal. COVID is not.
yeah,
You know, flu deaths and COVID deaths are not reported in the same way.
yeah, some guy gets shot, shoots himself in the fucking head, but happened to have COVID, and they mark it as a COVID death, and they mark COVID deaths.
That's fucked.
Literally, that is an actual thing that happened, but
Yeah.
it's still a COVID death apparently. This is why I'm sus on COVID, because all the
Oh,
numbers
there
have
you
been
go.
skewed from the start.
Well, they're saying in this one, this is Americana,
Yeah,
states that the flu deaths are estimated, while COVID deaths are confirmed cases. And it says he
that's
notes
very
during
interesting. Interesting that they
he
are. Yeah,
yeah, he notes that counted deaths for COVID in the United States were around 15,000 per week. During a typical peak week for the flu, the counted deaths are 750.
yeah.
Fast,
I wonder what
fast
states in the
conclude.
US had the highest ones though. Were those the states that were putting COVID patients into old folks' homes?
This guy is from Massachusetts Hospital.
I just don't trust cunts. I don't trust like these numbers, because it's like, yeah, but it seems like you just pushed the numbers as high as you could fucking get them in certain ways. And then when you had the Project Veritas fucking videos of the CNN
Yeah, yeah,
reporter
yeah.
being like, oh,
I should have
yeah,
clarified that this is um, a thing written by a doctor
yeah, yeah,
from Massachusetts Hospital.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So these numbers were from that
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts
Yeah, okay,
hospital.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
The 15,000 per week was from that hospital. Um, and then it goes on. COVID deaths are anywhere from 10 times to 44 times the number of influenza fatalities. They say the reason behind raw statistics that indicate COVID is more dangerous than influenza.
I still haven't met anyone that's had COVID.
I mean, I think. I hope. Like I was saying, fish fucking could have had COVID and we just felt it as a normal flu. Like,
As most people do.
mm,
Is that a reason to lock people down at home and have seen what the suicide rate's like currently?
yeah, pretty high.
Yeah, and do you think what do you think you'd personally rather get, a bit of a flu or get massively depressed because you're locked down in your house for fucking 2 weeks, not being able to go anywhere or see anyone? I think I'd rather the flu. I
Yeah, I
just
don't
think we should allow people to have the option of doing what they want. If you want to protect people, make sure you protect them by, definitely sanitizing and do those sort of things before going into old folks' homes and the more vulnerable, and especially people that are more vulnerable with certain fucking medical case, like might have a
But you
autoimmune
also,
thing. They should definitely take precautions.
but you also got to consider in Americana's case the classic stubborn American. So when you get a 85-year-old woman and or man even, and they're like, stay at home, you can only go this, and they're just like, fuck that, I'm
Yeah,
going out.
yeah. Which one?
And she
So you're
is
saying they
fucking.
shouldn't have the right to put their own life in their own hands?
No, I'm saying somebody has to fucking consider what they're doing.
Yeah, but they should still fundamentally have the right to put their own lives in their own hands. If they want to risk going out and potentially getting COVID, that should be their fundamental right.
Yes, and what I'm more getting at is, as us, the younger people, we should have some fucking consideration when we also go out to reduce the chance that that old person has of getting it.
Definitely should be some consideration, but I don't think lockdowns are appropriate. I think yeah, maybe masks, definitely using fucking hand sanitizer and stuff like that. But I don't think locking down humans and stopping them from going places is the appropriate response to that.
Temporarily, and
Yes, but they've done it how many times now?
yeah,
How many weeks of
too
our
many.
lives will be just spent being stuck in our own homes, basically like prisoners, just because some old folks might die?
Yeah, but then again, as I was saying, absolutely everybody has a totally different lockdown situation.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I'm obviously
So
more speaking about
I think,
Australian standards or
yeah,
Vic
but
standards.
even then, fish, man, yours lockdown is totally different
Yeah,
to my
yeah,
lockdown.
that's it.
Like,
That's it. That's why it's Vic government that's controlling all this shit.
and
But
so
that's
and
why I
me,
trust them, and that's why I think
yeah.
all this shit is bullshit.
But that's what's
Just a way to,
fucked,
it's
man. Though,
just a way for
because
big pharma to make money, man.
but that's what I'm saying. Though you've also got this main negative because you've had it so much more shitter
Oh, of
than
course,
what
of
I've
course,
had it.
of course,
Like,
of
and
course.
then
I think that's
you
just
imagine,
how it's gonna be.
yeah, with the other countries,
When I'm viewing it,
like,
like these cunts are locking this shit down for absolutely no reason, for something that just, yeah, sure, people might get sick, but if you want to take the risk of getting sick, you should be able to take the risk of getting sick. I just don't, like, I'm a libertarian, so I don't believe that the government should be able to interfere with stuff like this. It's
yeah.
human freedoms we're talking about here, and for the government to
But
step
then,
in and go, nope, you have to stay in your house, you're not allowed to go anywhere, or else we will fine you or imprison you, simply because there is a virus getting around that is deadly, a 1 in 10 chance of a 70-plus-year-old dying from it. So you have to stay in your house and just deal with that. Even if you got an abusive relationship, even if you got problems at home, we don't give a fuck. Stay in your house. I just don't think the
yeah,
government should be able to step in and do that.
I'm just, yeah. My question then really would be, what has less number of deaths?
Like between COVID
Keeping
deaths or like suicide deaths or something like that. I don't think we could just take it in
between,
turn,
no, no, no,
though.
no, between lockdown, locked up deaths, and
But I
um,
don't think you could just
letting people out freely.
Yeah, for sure. Well, if we look at states like fucking Florida, where they didn't really do lockdowns and the COVID numbers aren't that bad there, because the herd immunity kicked in pretty quickly and they were all pretty fine. Like, there's
Yeah, but
definitely a
was
lot of.
that down to just that kicking in quickly, or were they actually following the other rules properly?
No,
Masks, hand sanitizer,
no.
social
Well, they
distancing.
got forced to for a bit, but the governor of Florida took masks out as soon as he could, man. He took so many of the laws out as soon as he could and said they're like infringements to the rights of the civilians. And considering we know that Florida is mainly filled with fucking old people, and their
And
COVID
crazy
numbers,
people.
COVID
Crazy.
number, yeah, of course, and their COVID numbers actually aren't that bad. In fact, if we have a look at especially in America, a lot of the states that have higher COVID deaths are the ones that have had massive lockdowns, like
Mm.
New York and fucking all that
But
jazz,
but then
and
but then again,
Cali.
does that come back into what you're saying before about everything's classified as a COVID death.
Well, yeah, especially in those states.
What was
Yeah,
it? A gator, and
and
he was out at lockdown, so it
where
was
a
a
lot of
COVID
the
death.
incentive comes from too, because apparently the hospitals were getting kickbacks every time they had a COVID patient. So that
What do you mean
instant,
kickback?
so the government would, every time that the hospital had to deal with a COVID patient, the government would pay them a couple grand
Okay,
or
yeah.
whatever it was, right? So do you not think that that would maybe incentivize doctors and whatnot to go, oh, yep, that's a COVID patient. Oh, that one too, that's a COVID patient. Or, hey, let's get people in the situation where they're more likely to get COVID, so we get more of a payout from the government, who is currently just printing money like it's porn mags.
Mm,
That's why I
I
don't.
would like to
That's why I
say
don't trust
yes, but to me, that doesn't sound nearly as beneficial enough as like
when you're
keeping
doing
COVID out
when
of
you're
your
doing
hospital.
when you're doing that, yeah. But if you also are already under the impression or have the knowledge that COVID isn't actually as bad as they make it out to be, and who cares if some people get it, because they're just gonna get the flu basically for a bit, and then they'll be fine after that, and we've got a couple more $1,000 in the bank's fundage, in the hospital's fundage.
But for a state
Humans are
to
avarice and
consecutively
greedy as
do
fucking
that,
shit. Yeah, man. You've
yeah,
seen the video of the black dude in the old folks' home in fucking Michigan punching the shit out of the old dude. Like
probably.
they willingly put a COVID patient into an old folks' home. Why? Why would you do that? Especially as
Oh
it's
yeah, I did see. Yeah, yeah.
already criminal. That, like, it's just that's just why I don't trust a lot of it, because I see so much shit where it's just like, it just feels like a lot of the governments use this
But
as a way to get a little bit of control or money where they can, or like whatever reasons they just use
yeah,
it as a reason to make money, to gain control, to fucking start a war, to fucking whatever their
yeah,
intention is. It's like China was like, oops, holy shit. Oh, who cares if it gets out? Let's see what it does to the world. And yeah, holy shit.
it definitely does seem like absolutely everybody's like, fuck yeah,
Yeah,
COVID rocks.
they're doing what they can with it. In the Australians' fucking point, it's like, to me, it's like they're trying to kill small businesses a fuck ton, and like, to me, that's what it seems like they're trying to do in Australia. They're trying to,
To me though,
any mum and pa style, they're trying to destroy because they can't keep running.
I guess I keep looking at it too much as well as a, like the global perspective, because as again, like changing countries, just given how different countries are
Mm.
obviously dealing with it,
Yeah,
like
there was some and the hard part too is different size countries too. It's so easy. It's so
the
much easier for a
density and all
small
that.
country to rid themselves of it and then hopefully keep it out of the country than it is for a large country like America, who's got a huge population.
Hmm.
And then, like, here in Victoria, there's a couple of fucking cases, and they're just like, "Well, state lockdown again." And then, like, it's just,
And
yeah.
then
Obviously, different countries just react so fucking differently. But in the end, I think it's because they all just want to push a little bit of control, just see what sort of control they can get, see if they can convince all the civilians to go and get a vaccine under the pretenses that this is a deadly thing. Like, even if there's nothing going on with the vaccine, just to see if they can do it. Let's see what population actually goes and listens to us and just goes and gets a vaccine.
but
Like, just for
e
stats.
even then, like, yeah, like there could be still a positive sense in the negative where they're using it now as like a training. What do we do if this was something as bad as a zombie virus? So how long can people deal with this shit before they break? So we know before they're busting out of their homes
Yeah.
into the zombie street. Like,
Like, I find it weird that, like, the American government in particular had plans for if there was a zombie apocalypse, but they didn't have plans if there was
for
a
just
pandemic.
super flu.
It's so strange. It's so strange that the governments just weren't prepared for this. Like, it's strange that the Australian
Yeah.
government just kept letting people in on planes and all that, where if this was as serious as they originally said it was, and I was in the leadership of Australia, I would have locked the border down straight away. And then every plane that come in would have been rerouted to an airport that had a quarantine facility. You'd spend
Hold
so
up,
many weeks there, and then, yep, now you're back out.
They did, except for the private jets. Private jets were allowed.
Of course. The soccer players, the football players, the everyone making money and keeping the entertainment business going. Of course.
Yep, because they're immune to the fucking
Yeah,
flus.
apparently. Yeah, I don't know. The way that they've ran this just seems like they're just trying to push more people into not having a job and having to rely off the government and to kill small business so that that's only the big businesses left to continue to push their
I
wares
get,
online. Have you
I
seen
get
how
the big business part though, but I don't fully get the whole. What was the part you said before that?
like to gain control and like fucking
No, not the
have
control. I get that.
have
Yeah.
people not have jobs and shit anymore?
Yeah, not have jobs. Why don't they want that?
So you don't have your own income. If you've got somebody else paying you, they can't exactly control that. But if the government pays you and then you fuck up, oh, no more payments. Where do you get your
And
food
then
from?
the purpose of that is just to kill you.
Yeah, or just
Okay,
to starve
okay,
you so you learn. Bit of re-education dip.
okay. Yeah, yep.
Just get
But
in
I was just
line.
struggling for that concept. Yep,
Yeah, it's a
I'm with you.
control. It's a control thing. And the more that if they can control your income, they can control the sort of medical attention you get. They control your fucking what you say, your thoughts, what media you're allowed to
All right.
consume.
Here's a question. Hypothetical. Let's say world domination was successful. Bunch of drones or bunch of yes men. What happens next?
Well, see, that's always the end point, and generally, it's just they just want to keep making money. It's all avarice, it's all greed, and just the want of control. That just
Yeah,
humans
but
will
there's
whatever have
resources are finite. Like,
they don't care because as soon as they die, then they go to whatever is the great beyond, and that's it. Who cares what's next? Who cares what that you leave behind and have to leave other people to deal with? You had a
right?
fantastic life of fucking hookers and blackjack.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'm with you. They're old dirty men. Yeah. My mistake is thinking that there is actually an agenda.
Yeah,
That's
to me it is just
an end goal.
to me it's just literally human avarice, people just wanting control because what's more like obviously the average Joe Blow isn't like, yeah, I want control, but most people like a little bit of control in their life to a certain degree.
So
Like people
bitches
don't
nowadays, they just want to be submitting. As you're saying, Fish, the control, most people are willingly giving it up. They're like, yeah, take it. Take the reins. Make me do this.
that's it. Fucking yeah.
Look, I'm a person that when it comes to work, it's like, yeah, give me orders and I'll fucking nail it.
Yeah,
But
that's it.
when it comes to not doing work, it's like you tell me what to do and I'll be like,
Once that 8 hours is up, if I was at the pub and Pete turned around to me, he's just like, "Oh, Sean, go get me some beers." I'd just be like, oh, mate, actually, maybe I'd be nice, go get him some beers. But
yeah, be like,
if he
"Oh,
didn't go
you
get the
paying?
second
Like,
round, then I'd be like, oh, go fuck yourself. Like,
yeah,
yeah,
rude cunt.
fucking, you tell me what to do for 8 hours because you also put the money in my bank account. That's what fucking capitalism is all about, baby.
And that's why people said,
I'll
don't be
be your
friends with your
slave.
boss.
Yeah, that's exactly. You should never be friends with your fucking boss.
Bit dirty dog, turn around and be like, if you don't get me those beers, don't come in tomorrow.
That's yeah, man. Yeah,
Like the power just goes to their head. Yeah. That's what really actually gets me, man, about my current boss. He's the boss, but he's an absolute spineless coward.
yeah.
And I'm like, how? Like, he can't tell anybody. And he's never fired anybody. The supervisor has done it all. He's always gone, oh, yeah, tell this person, blah, blah, tell this person. Or if he says, I can't, we actually got along really well, so I feel kind of bad. Obviously, sometimes you can't always be saying that shit. But then he turns around, he's like, oh, all right, I'll do it. He's like, oh, I'll call him or something. And then he supervisor's like, or whatever. Then he finds out he never calls them and maybe send him a text.
It's like, yeah, nah, you wonder how people like that even run businesses, eh? Like, how do you even manage to gain any sort of control or standing or fucking
Because I can pay the other guy to do it. But yeah, I've thought about it, man. That I could probably fucking take over his position just with my words. Just walk in there and just start.
Give him the old look at me. I'm your boss now.
Yeah. And then when he's really like, good joke, I'll be like, no, get out of my office. He'd probably be like, okay, just give me a second to get my stuff. And then I'll be like, no, this is now my stuff. The photo of your wife and your children.
They're not
This is
mine.
now this photo. It's now a photograph of my employee's family. I will remember. Yeah, man.
Oh shit.
Some people just fucking. You just like, what? How?
Alright. We're gonna go dip. This kid's getting fucking hungry.
Yeah, anyway,
Shit.
Billy.